Hello, my name is Nick, and welcome to another episode of Level Die. This week, I'm joined by Mike, and we're going to be talking about a game that he's beaten 9 times?
Probably less, but
7
yeah, I think
times.
so. 7 sounds right.
Yeah, 7 sounds right. Metal Gear Solid 2. Now, we've done Metal Gear Solid in the past, but what fucking Metal Gear games have we done?
4 than 5.
Yeah, 4 than 5, now 2. So clearly, there's no sort of sense of order, but I have said in the past that I was not a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid 2, but for some fucking reason, just this last month, I was like, I'm going to play Metal Gear again, and I'm going to like play 2, and I'm going to give it a shot. Like, I'm going to give it a real fucking shot for the first time since I beat it the last time, which is, I've only beat that game once.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to fucking give it a shot, and something clicked, and it was super fucking fun, and I enjoyed every second of it, and I couldn't wait to, like, get home from work and play it some more. Or, like, you know, I was having all those controller issues for, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was like, so let me, I'll tell this little fucking story. I was having controller issues for my PS3. So I have the Legacy Collection on PS3, which is every single Metal Gear game up to 4. Actually, up to Peace Walker. Peace Walker was after 4. So every Metal Gear game, aside from Portable Ops and Acid 1 and 2, up to Peace Walker in one collection. And I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking throw it in because I'm bored and I don't have anything to play and I want to play it. And my controllers kept fucking up. So my one controller was fucking up. So then I was going to go buy a new controller, and then that controller that I brought home was also fucking up. And then I ended up pouring water on the first controller and destroying it in the middle of the night. Gone. It's fucking dead. It can never be used again. I was shaking water out of that controller for like 3 days. Dead. It's fucking done. That controller will never be used again. The controller I bought from fucking GameStop, ruined. I brought it home and it didn't work. I haven't returned it yet. I'm going to return it like this weekend because I am fucking broke and I could use some money.
See, we were saying you should just continuously keep returning the controllers till you get better controllers from GameStop because they won't know.
Yeah, slowly upgrade the controllers until I have an army of perfectly operable PS3 controllers.
Throw the underwater controller back at them. Try to get a better one.
My deep sea controller. Give them that one. But my roommate actually fucking was like, dude, you need a PS3 controller? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, dude, I've got like 5 in the garage. And he dug through this box and he was like, boom, use this one. Now, occasionally, it still does the same thing that the other 2 controllers do, which is, I'm starting to think that my fucking PS3 is the issue, but you were saying, how could it be? And I'm thinking, how could it be, too? Yeah. But it's so weird. It must be like an issue that happens with PS3 controllers. I think there might be dust in the controller, and it's causing it to, like, activate shit and go nuts. That's what
I was telling you, sometimes the PS3 controller that I've, like, only used in my entire life, it just, like, randomly presses D-pad buttons sometimes.
Dude, that's what it's doing.
Yeah.
And the left trigger. The left trigger.
Yeah, I don't know about the trigger, but my, like, up D-pad gets pressed a lot whenever I play games.
Yeah, dude. Imagine playing a Metal Gear game where it presses the left trigger and presses up and down. So it's like it just opens your item menu and just goes nuts. And then like I'll try and stop it, and then it'll open the weapon menu and then just go fucking nuts. And then I'll cancel all that, and then my character will just start like equipping and de-equipping his gun like super rapidly, and then just like going up and down and shit. But yeah, so it was during that controller fiasco, I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and I was just in love with it. For some reason, everything just fucking clicked, and it was just totally fucking fun. And you know me, you know that I have trashed Metal Gear Solid 2 since I played it. You know,
yeah, but I don't know. For me, like, it's weird because, like, when I look back at Metal Gear Solid 2, I kind of hold in remembrance like the overall like story and like I guess the quote unquote themes they were trying to put out, but I've never been high on the actual gameplay, if that makes sense.
Really? I
Yes.
actually, oh, dude, I was thinking it would be so cool to see someone today make a set camera angle stealth game like Metal Gear Solid 2. Seriously, like for that game just works. There's something like I like.
No, I don't mean about that. I just feel
Oh,
like I guess we could just get into it, but I feel like the overall pacing of the game is pretty bad.
okay. What do you mean by that?
So first off, they divide this game into two parts: the tanker and the big shell.
Yes.
The tanker I feel is overall fine, but I feel like with big shell, it's just like the first 2 hours of the game you're just doing bombs, and then from there on you're just like doing something for like 20 minutes. And you do, and you get like a cutscene. Then you do something different for 20 minutes. You do a cutscene, and I
Well,
just feel like
wouldn't you say? Well, actually, for the first 2 hours, you're like, you don't do any bombs. You do like I would say the first 2 hours is like kind of learning the game, running around, activating nerds,
nerds.
and then so that little autistic bit of dialogue that we both just squeaked out comes from a line in very early in the game where Raiden, the actual hero of Metal Gear Solid 2, is like talking to his commander, and he goes, "Did you just say nerd?" And
Nodes.
no nodes, and he goes, "Oh," and then it just like continues on like nothing happened. And it's like
That's
that,
your introduction to Raiden right there.
that's that's like literally 30 seconds into when you meet Raiden. Like so, I didn't like him to begin with, but he super grows on you.
Mhm.
But you run around and you like learn the game, and then a little bit later you get the bombs, and the bombs doesn't even take that long. It takes like 30 minutes max,
Well,
and
you've played
you
the game before, so you like generally know where to go, right?
well, kind of, but they also put all the bombs on the map for you. Every
Yeah,
bomb.
yeah.
So you know exactly where to go. They also give you an item that shows you the general location of the bomb, and they're honestly, I guess, because I do know where all the bombs are on normal. You played it on every difficulty, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you were telling me when I was running around the fucking mailroom, you were like, dude, there's a bomb on those
The parcels that are
the
flying across the conveyor belts.
yeah, the conveyor belts. Yeah, there's like bombs on the conveyor. So if I were to oh fuck, that was so loud. So if I were to jump into the game again on a harder difficulty, I wouldn't know where all the bombs are. But on normal, I know where the bombs are. So it doesn't take that long. And I think like one of the cool things about this game is you're kind of given like a new gameplay element like throughout it. So it's like, first it's learn the game, second is find the bombs, then it's a boss fight. Then it's you get the outfit, and then you got to find the gun, and then you got to infiltrate core of Big Shell 1. It has variety through it, and that's something that like I really liked. That actually kept me in it. Was like, oh, I get the infiltration of Big Shell Core Part 1. Right now, and then you get the swimming. You get the swimming. That was a thing. You had to find aims. That was something. You know.
So while you were gone, I was thinking about it a little more,
I
and
wasn't gone. I deleted all of that. Nobody knows that I disappeared.
yeah, okay, but yeah. So I thought about it a little more, and I guess my problem, if I were to refine it, is I
Uh-huh.
feel like after the Harrier fight, which is roughly like the halfway point of the game,
Yes.
after the Harrier fight, there's like no sneaking sections after that. Like all the sneaking in this game is front loaded to Tanker and Shell One.
What happens in
After
Shell 2? You
you only
climb
have
through
Shell
the.
2 core, and it's basically the President Rescue mission. After that,
Mhm.
so after Harrier, you have President Rescue, which is a little bit of sneaking, like 10 minutes, and then that's it. You're done with all the sneaking and stealth sections,
And then
basically
what
from there on.
happens?
After you rescue the president, you have to go rescue EE, and then you escort her back. You do the sniper section,
Oh,
and
you
then
do the
you're on Arsenal.
sniper section. Yes. Okay. and then some shit happens, and
Mhm.
then you make it to fucking Arsenal.
Arsenal, yep.
Now there is sneaking in Arsenal, quite a bit of it
One room.
actually.
One room, yeah.
Yeah, that one room, and
It's
I
the hardest
guess
room in the game
yeah,
in the
it
game,
did. It
but
took
it's
me
one
like
room.
fucking 7 minutes. Like it actually took me a while, and I didn't actually. The funny thing is I didn't get a single alert in that room this time, which is wild. Like first, like I used to get alerts fucking every time in that room, but I
Oh, it was so
managed to
hard.
fucking do it, like
Yeah.
no problem, first try, like just made it. I was like, what the fuck? And then I just like got to the door, and then
Just
you sit in the fucking hallway and you answer those calls. Those fucking calls, dude. That's gonna be the intro of this podcast. Is 61966 scissors, and obviously, did you just say nerd?
nerds. My
And
two favorite calls that he does is the first one where he's like, Ryden, like I'm done with you. Just go home. I'll take care of the combat from here on out. And then he just hangs up on you and he's talking shit to you.
and then
The
he
other
goes,
one,
"Turn off the video game console now, Raiden."
mhm. And
Yeah.
the next one I like is when he goes like, "Oh, hey Ryden, I didn't want to bring this up during the mission, but I saw a man leaving Rosemary's room,
Oh
and
yeah.
they looked intimate. I just wanted you to know. Sorry to bring it up." And then he
And
just hangs
hangs
up.
up. Like, dude, he's like, dude, there's some dude fucking your girl, bro.
Uh,
Like, dropping like a fucking, you're getting cucked on you in the final thing. Okay, so since we're here, I guess we're jumping all around, but I would love to talk about this since we're on it right now. I mean, this game is designed really well as sort of like a total mindfuck. And me and you were talking. I was playing with you, and I was in the call like the whole time, and I kept
mhm.
like hitting you up about story shit. And then you get to the very end, and you find out like the truth of the situation. But the way that you find out the truth of what's going on in the Big Shell incident is so like cool. Like
Complex.
it's never been like I've never seen something like subvert your expectations in that way
Yeah.
before in a game that I've played even to this day, where you get to the end and every fucking thing that happened before then was a total fucking lie, and you were like, everything was sort of a setup from the beginning, and it's revealed in this super interesting way. Like one of my favorite ones is I just found this out, or I found it out one of the last times I was playing it or whatever. Like when he's just like naming Japanese like words, those are all like Japanese cities that like got bombed during World War II. He was just like Nagasaki. Like
All the
super fucking
gibberish.
yeah. Well, it was like super fucking fast, like Japanese city names, and that was like those were all just like cities that got bombed, just like a bunch of just random gobbledygook info that he's just spewing at you, you know,
Mhm.
and I just thought it was so. And I answered every one of those calls. You don't have to; they're optional.
Yeah, you can just
So
run
yeah,
through
you
the
can
whole thing.
just move through them. But like when you're sitting in that final hallway waiting for Snake to show up, like there's nothing to do but answer the calls. So I just
Yeah.
sat and fucking answered him. But yeah, that fucking one of my favorite parts during that is actually when you're already teamed up with Snake, and it does the fission mailed, and it puts you in the small screen, and you have to
Oh yeah.
play in the tiny screen and shoot and stuff, and like you're
Yeah.
like you can still run around. It goes fission mailed, and there's like a bunch of like random gobbledygook, fucking at the
I
bottom.
my first time playing, I just like put the controller down. I was like, "How the fuck did I fail?" And I started taking damage. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm still playing," and I had to pick it back up and
Yeah,
try
I
to
mean, isn't
salvage
that
it.
beautiful? I mean, that's like one of those. I mean, I would say it's on par. And the thing with the thing about the reference, it still gets me to this day. It has not become um, like trite. It hasn't become shitty. That sort of thing, like the fission mail, the calls, the meltdown of Campbell, reminds me of the third wall break in Metal Gear Solid One, where Psycho Mantis tells you to put your controller on the floor so he can
Yeah.
vibrate it. That like okay, so I knew when I first played Metal Gear Solid 2 or Metal Gear Solid 1, little side story when I turboed through all the games in like a year. I knew that he was going to read my memory card, and I knew that he was going to move my controller. Like those are the two things you just know. Like those are just something like gamers
If you
know.
haven't played the game, you still know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the whole take the controller out into the other socket thing
The
too.
other
People still
socket
know
thing.
that.
You just know those things. Those are things that you just kind of know even without playing Metal Gear. But when I experience those moments, they like blew my mind still because like
It's still cool.
it's still so cool. Like, dude, just set your controller down, and you set it on like he's like on a hard surface, like on a flat surface, like your
Yeah.
coffee table, and it fucking moves, dude. It's so
And then he
cool.
starts like talking about the other games he's played on your memory card
Oh, I
too.
hear you like going through castles. Like if you've played Castlevania or if you've played like Super Monkey Ball, he's like, rolling around in balls. Like just like locks you down on your whole fucking memory card for like, well, it's like probably like 15 games, big games that came out before Metal Gear Solid 1. He will read those and he will fucking make fun of you, basically. And then he
Yep.
vibrates your controller, and then you literally can't damage him until you put your controller to port 2. It's fucking because he can't read your mind if it's in the second controller
Yeah, if
port.
it's in port one.
Oh my fucking god, dude. And like this, the meltdown of Campbell is sort of like that, where it's like a third wall break, like a big major third wall break, but or fourth wall. I keep saying third wall. I'm fucking retarded. Fourth wall break.
Fourth
Excuse me
wall.
for the last fucking 10 minutes. I'm a fucking idiot. But like that's like a huge fourth wall break. The fission mailed thing, like that still got me. Like when I was playing just this last week, I was like, oh shit! Like I was like, oh, I'm still playing. Like I was like, oh fuck, I can't see anything. The screen is so small. And then it just like goes back to normal. Like after like a minute, I'm just like, dude, this is the best shit.
Yeah, after you're like squinting your eyes trying
Yeah.
to look at that tiny ass
Trying to
screen.
fucking just mashing the shoot button, just trying to fucking kill everything. Yeah.
Also, during that part, there's another fourth wall break where in your mini map they just replace the mini map with a picture with a video of like a Japanese girl just
Yes, that bikini girl. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my god.
But
I was
you're-
like, yo, fucking watching that. Like it's like so there's like this kind of Japanese. It's technically porn, but it's like this form of Japanese porn in Japan where these idols or like supermodels and shit. Oh, there's like it's like a 45, and I've watched these. This is why I know. It's like a 45-minute long video of basically like an idol or like a very beautiful Japanese woman, just like in a bikini, just like
doing stuff.
playing in the tub or like popping,
Yeah,
like just like throwing balloons and just.
I was
walking around
watching
and shit.
Derek play Yakuza 0 and they had that like sex room or whatever where you just go in and watch videos of Japanese
Yes.
girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
yeah,
basically
dude.
that thing for like 10 seconds in
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, and dude, I totally forgot about that too. But I was like running around in the room, and I was like, "Yo, fucking like, not bad." That's actually one of the funny things about Metal Gear is there are literally Japanese fucking idols everywhere.
Oh, and the
Pictures of
lockers,
them,
too.
pictures. Every fucking like at least in every fucking strut, there's like a supermodel somewhere.
Yep.
And you can take pictures of them. You can, I think you get an achievement for taking every picture of them, right?
And
In Tanker.
in Tanker, no. In Tanker, there's an achievement if you take a picture of like one of the Japanese models.
Yeah.
And then you send that picture to Otacon instead of the picture of the Metal Gear.
Yeah.
He makes some comment. He's like, "Oh, Snake, you're so sick," or
But
something.
I'm going
like
to
that.
download this.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this for later. There's also
Yeah.
an achievement if you're hiding inside of a locker, you can press like R1 and like move your face towards the grates to
Yeah.
like look outside.
Yeah.
Some of the lockers have Japanese girls.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
inside
yeah.
them.
I tried
So
I tried to replicate that, but I didn't know all the buttons to press.
yeah, so I think you just go inside, then like you kneel down, and then you like look at the Japanese model, and like
Yeah.
apparently Snake like jacks off or something, and
Yes.
then Otacon calls
Is that
you
a
and
myth?
No, you get an achievement for it.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! I'm gonna have to replay the Tanker and do that. That's hilarious. See, it's like those. Oh, and there's also in the Tanker, like this is like just some of the weird shit that Metal Gear Solid 2 has going for it. There's this jar, like an ice cube. It's not a tray though. What would you call like a cylinder ice cube holder?
A
Cup.
cup, I don't know.
Big
glass
big,
cup.
Big big ice cube cup.
Yep.
If you shoot it, all the ice cubes pop out. But the thing is you can watch the ice cubes melt, and they will melt at different degrees depending on how close they are to
To the
other
light.
ice cubes.
Oh wow.
It's
I
like, and
never
you
did
can just
that.
watch them melt. It's in that room that has
That's
an
the
exit.
that's the main room, right?
Yeah, an exit on either side, and then the stairs upstairs.
Yeah, I know which one.
Yeah, with the bar. And if you go
Yep.
behind the bar and you shoot it, you can watch the ice cubes melt. And I'm like, dude, there's like some super autistic shit in this game.
Yeah,
Like you
I
can
think if you shoot like the cups and all the glass, like it actually like breaks to where you shoot it too. Like the entire thing doesn't break.
kind of, yeah. I think I remember that. Dude, I was
Yeah.
playing Metal Gear Solid 4 because I beat 3 and now I'm on 4. The part where you go and you meet Meryl in the hotel,
Hmm.
there's a bunch of wine bottles on the bar, and if you jump up on the bar and you walk and you knock them off with your feet and they hit the ground, they break. Like
Really?
they don't break like in a random way, but they break. They fall a distance and break, and that's like totally what a wine bottle would do in real life. And I was like, dude, this is the weird shit that like
Kojima just does in his games. Yeah.
but like all the designers and shit are like, because apparently from what I heard is it's like Kojima asks for some shit to put in the game, and then all the designers like come up with like fun ideas to put in the game. Like it's basically like we're gonna take drawings out of a hat, and that's gonna go in the game basically. And like the ice cube thing made it in. Probably fucking snake jacking off made it in because it's fucking funny.
Mhm.
But like, just I was literally like I just climbed up on the bar in 4, and I like watched a wine glass fall, and then it broke, and I was like, holy fuck! And I just walked along the bar and knocked them all off, and just watched them all shatter, and I was like, dude, this is like an attention to detail that you don't get in a lot of games. Like that's totally something that not everyone is going to experience.
Yeah,
And
and I don't really pay attention to like a lot of like pre-development stuff for games because I don't really care.
right,
But
I'm the
in
exact opposite.
yeah, but in this game, one thing I really liked was when you go into alert, and there's like certain rooms they do this. If you go into alert and you go inside of like a room and you hide inside of a locker, like a special SWAT team from the enemies will show up and they will like clear the room as if like an actual SWAT team would. They're like clearing
Yeah,
corners and doing all this fucking SWAT team shit, and they're like walking, strafing, and all that, and they check all these lockers. I think it might have been from like the thing out of the hat thing you said that Kojima like actually wanted this in the game, and he would make his staff members like he would like tell somebody to go hide in the office, and he would make his staff members clear the office as if they were a SWAT team, so they can like for further understand how to like implement that in the game.
right. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
The thing is you can tell that Metal Gear Solid 1 through, I would even say 4, even though you could tell, you know, Kojima was definitely tired of making Metal Gear by 4.
hmm
There's a lot of soul in Metal Gear.
yep,
And I loved, and the thing is, with the SWAT team thing that you were talking about, it is some of the most stressful shit watching
yeah,
that fucking SWAT team walk into the room. They are fucking dude. It's because they brought in like actual people to do those movements, and they
yep,
would fucking clear the room. And they basically just recorded them doing it and put them in the game. And like they
yeah.
were like, move, and they move forward. He goes, clear, and then they move forward,
They
clear.
go in front of your locker and
Yeah,
they just decide to not open it for some reason.
yeah, and then they move on to the next. Yeah, you know, obviously, because you got to have some fucking way to escape it. But
Yeah,
it was just like I remember it being like the most stressful fucking thing watching that fucking because don't you get like a cam where you can watch them clear?
yeah. You
watch
get
them
like
clear.
the enemy cam or something, and
Yeah.
you see like them in first person.
Yeah, it because when you get an alert in Metal Gear, it disables your radar. You have no more radar, which is like one of your most important fucking things.
Yeah,
And so when does it happen in Big Shell? Because I know it happens for sure in Tanker. Does
It
it actually?
happens in Big Shell. I've seen
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, so your radar gets deleted and they replace it with like literally the tac cam of this team searching for you, and you are cowering in a locker just like, oh fuck. Oh fuck. Please don't find me. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
And like some of this stuff doesn't seem so advanced now, but this game also has like water trails and blood trails, and the enemy can see that too. So
Water footprints too.
yeah, so there's a couple of examples. Like right when you enter the tanker, you're all wet. So if you like instantly get caught and you like decide to go hide in a locker, the SWAT team shows up, and then like the tac cam like zooms in on the water trail, like
Yeah.
going straight to your locker, and you're like, oh fuck, like you can't like get out because then they'll see you. So you just have to hope they somehow don't look in the locker. But
Yeah.
you totally know they will, so you're fucked anyway.
Dude, one of the other ones that actually happened to me on the tanker is you go outside for a bit and then you come back in and there's this room full of lockers and there's a dude walking around.
Yep.
And one of the way to avoid the dude is literally just go around him into the locker room and then go forward. But what the thing is he goes, whose footprints are these? And he fucking follows your wet footprints into the locker room. And you have to like maneuver around him as he like trails your footprints, and you have to like make it to the next room. And I think like once you go through like a loading screen, your footprints disappear. But
Yeah.
dude, that is like, what the thing is that even impressed me in Metal Gear Solid 1. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 1 on PS1, the snow footprints, and this is actually something I was going to talk about. Well, I'm going to continue with the Metal Gear Solid 1 thing. But, like, you in the first part of the game, you're in the snowy Shadow Moses fucking... what's that place?
The courtyard place.
No, what's the place, that big place that we own that's connected to Canada?
I don't know.
That state. It's part of the fucking... It's...
The Bering Strait?
No, god damn it, that giant fucking place
Alaska.
Alaska.
Oh,
So
that's
you're
what
in-
you want.
Yeah, that's what I want. You're in the Alaskan archipelago, and the first thing that you get when you're outside in Metal Gear Solid 1 is like this snow level as you're infiltrating Shadow Moses. And they set this shit up so that you could be impressed by it. Like, it's not impressive now, but it was impressive fucking 5 years ago when I played it, because they had the forethought to put it in the game. See, it doesn't have to be super technological. Like, he doesn't actually have to, like, AI think about it. All you have to do is set like are there footprints? Yes, no, yes. He
Follow
locks onto the
footprints.
footprints. It's super simple, you know? But like watching it happen in real time is fucking mind-blowing even today, because it doesn't happen in a lot of games anymore. Still. So
They're not in like situations where they would happen. A lot of stealth games don't happen in like wet or snowy
Right.
areas where you like would leave footprints.
you know? And it's really cool to see those things happen. So basically, there's one guard that you encounter after you get up the elevator in Metal Gear Solid 2, and there's like these two storage containers. And basically, you're supposed to go around the storage containers, around the enemy, and avoid him. What happens, though, is he reaches the end of his path, and he sees your footprints, because you're basically guaranteed to make footprints where he can see them. And he goes, huh? Whose footprints are these? And then he tracks them up to you. And you go, what? And you fucking sprint your balls off, and then you probably get an alert on somebody else because you're not paying attention. But that thing is super impressive, and it carries forward into MGS2. And one of the things about MGS2 is it's like essentially a direct upgrade to MGS1. And we can talk about that in terms of story in just a minute. But one of the things I was thinking about on my walk home today is Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 had absolutely zero sound detection. None. Zero.
What do you mean?
You can run up to an enemy. Well, they had the clanky floors, but I'm saying normally,
Yeah, I
normally
agree.
you can full ass sprint up to an enemy right behind them, point your gun at them, and they won't hear you.
Even to the point where there's like two guards side by side, you can run up to the guard, yell freeze to one guard, and the other guard like 5 inches away can't hear him because you're
Right.
not holding him up.
Because you're not holding him up. One of the things they did upgrade from Metal Gear Solid 1, I don't know if MGS 1 had the clanky floors, to be honest. I think that you just had zero sound emitted all the time. But I know for a fact that you emit sound on certain floor plates in this game, in Metal Gear
Yep.
Solid 2, as like a way to like trip you up, as a way to like fuck up your day, basically.
Yeah.
If you aren't paying attention, you're going to hit like a super loud metal clanky floor, and an enemy is immediately going to turn an alert on you. But one of the things they did add to Metal Gear Solid 2 is the ability for enemies to see you on different levels of an open area map or of an area. So in Metal Gear Solid 1, if an enemy was on a staircase and he was facing you and you were walking up a staircase, he literally couldn't see you until you were exactly on his plane. In Metal Gear Solid 2, and this is one of the best examples of this, is when you're going from one end of the tanker to the other via the motor room or whatever, like those two hallways and like all
Yeah,
the
I know.
staircases and shit. That's one of the best examples of this. And also, right when you start the game, there's a dude above you, and he will see you if you immediately run out from behind those pieces of wood. He will immediately see you and go, huh? And then run down and investigate. But
Yeah,
the biggest part where that plays effect is that fucking underground room where you go from the fucking aft to the stern, or no, from the fucking starboard to the other fucking side. I don't
the
remember.
the pipe section underneath
Yeah.
the ship, basically.
Yeah. And there are people who can look out. They're like way above you, and they can look out and they will see you and they go, huh? And they will come and investigate. And if you're not fast enough, they will catch you and you will get the SWAT team down there. And that was something I noticed. I was like, one of the major fucking upgrades from Metal Gear Solid 1 to 2 was the fact that enemies could see you in that way, where they could actually like track you at different levels.
And
in
it's
the
it's
map.
pretty forgiving too, because typically if they're high, like they won't instantly go alerted if they
No, they
see
don't.
you.
No, except for the motherfucker in Big Shell.
Yeah, that's
He
what I was
will
going to bring up.
instantly fucking go alerted.
Because he can't come down to get you, so you just get insta alerted.
Oh, that is fucking
Yeah,
bullshit.
I was going to say on Big Show at least, because I'm only familiar with the game like on Extreme now, but there's like certain guards placed like on top of the struts where you can't reach them, and they're basically just overlooking the entire bridge section. It's like unless you snipe them out with the M9 and trank them or something, they're gonna see you.
Yeah, so what I do when I get to that area with that guard that can insta alert is I will walk out that door, I will instantly point my trank gun at him and trank him, and then I
Yeah.
will make my way through him. And that's basically the only way to do it, because
You
it's-
don't have anything to deal with it at that point.
Yeah, well, but also you reach a later point in the game where you have the ciphers, you have the mines, and you have that guy looking at you, and literally that seems fucking impossible. But one of the big things you can do first off before anything is trank that motherfucker, and that takes off like a ton of your stress level. Because it is impossible trying to do all of that with that guy awake. There's just no fucking way. Because
Yeah,
if
'cause
you
I-
hit one of the bombs, don't you get in a fucking alert phase?
He hears it and he alerts it. Yeah,
Exactly. So you have to trank him or just snipe his ass. I mean, I was killing all sorts of fucking people later in the game. Because you know what? I was so sick of trying to play it trank only. I'm not going for achievements. I'm just trying to play the game. So I was like, headshots, baby. During the fucking sniper sequence, I was headshotting all sorts of motherfuckers.
makes it so much easier when you just kill him and you don't have to like retrank him halfway through. Also,
Oh my god, do you know what was fucked up? So, this is one of the fucked up things about that fucking sniper part. There are claymore mines located. So you have to escort via sniper rifle a member that you pick up. You save her not only from Colonel. We managed to avoid drowning. So you have to save her. You have to
like,
save
good
this-
job, Ryan.
Thanks. You know, you have to save this girl twice. So basically, you save her from like a watery grave, and then you have to escort her via sniper rifle over this like bridge
Well,
that
it's like
connects.
an oil rig thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
an oil rig net fence thing. I think it's called like the fence, and you have
Yeah.
to. She has to walk along this fence, and she has to get from point A to point B, and there's three fucking bridges in between that, in sort of like a hexagonal pattern. And excuse me. There are guards posted at each interval and on the first bridge, and I didn't know this until she died. There are claymores on the last bridge.
And they're like hidden behind pylons too, so you have to
Yeah.
like change your position
You have
to
to
shoot them.
look, and the sun is pointing directly in your eyes. So
Yeah.
you have to fucking you have to put your heat goggles on and shit. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
And
She
that
fucking she took one step onto that bridge and fucking died. And I was like, "What?" And I took a break for a day. I was like, "Nope."
is that whole sniper section is like 10 minutes long, and that claymore is like 9 minutes in, at least at
Yeah.
the very end. So
No, seriously, it's right
you
at
don't
the
want to
end.
redo that.
That's her last bridge. And all you have to do is shoot ciphers. And you can fucking call Snake in and he'll fucking shoot every goddamn like cipher. So like the only thing stopping you is that like that first claymore on the last bridge. And I forgot it was there. And she fucking walked into it and I got the game over and I was just like, "Nope, I'm not doing this again right now." And I just fucking turned the PlayStation off. I was like, "Save, quit, fuck this.
Yeah,
I'll come back
especially
tomorrow."
since that thing's like so far away, and if you like forgot to do it until the very end and you realize it and you use all your penazaiman, like you're not hitting that shot because
Nope.
the sway on the sniper rifle is so extreme. It's like so unrealistic too.
It's like you're standing in a tornado and you're an 85-year-old man. I mean, it is fucking unreal.
For somebody as trained as Ryan, you would expect him to not like
Not sway like a fucking
yeah.
like a paraplegic. I mean, it's
like he's
fucking
drunk.
unreal.
He just can't
it's like he fucking slammed like 6 bottles of Jack Daniels, and then he was like, "Well, time to snipe." It's like, what, dude? I can shoot a gun more accurately than Raiden can without drugs. Like, what the fuck is that?
I was thinking about this too, and since we're talking about like shooting mechanics, the first person shoot or the first person like aim. Did you have trouble with aiming the handgun?
No,
Really?
not at all.
Because when I was playing it, and it's really apparent in the VR missions, I feel like when you're like trying to change your aim, Raiden like overcompensates right when you finish aiming, and like his gun slightly goes to
He
the
like
right.
slides.
Yeah, it slides, but like, so it's like when you're shooting, the gun is like not where the gun is aimed is not where the bolt's going to come out, but it's on the laser.
Right.
So when you go like right to left, it's really apparent. Like the laser is slightly to the left or to the right of the gun, depending on which direction you're aiming. And at least for VR missions, it's really hard to like accurately nail headshots when
Do you always
need
have
to.
a laser though?
On the M9, yeah, you do.
Oh no, but you don't have it on the fucking
The SOCOM, no.
the SOCOM. You actually have to go into iron sights. Can you aim the SOCOM without iron sights?
Yeah. No, I'm always talking about iron sights.
I never noticed that. I always noticed like, dude, when I put iron sights on a dude, he was dead to rights.
Really?
Yeah, and then with the M9, you just use the laser. You just point anywhere, and therefore
Well,
you don't
that's
hit
what I was talking
exactly
about. I feel
yeah.
the aim is on the laser, but
Right.
it's not on the gun.
Are you? Oh, well, I mean, I guess like I always just sort of understood that. It was like when I put the laser on something, that's what gets hit. So like that's just the way I understood. So I never had any issue. It was just like get the laser on the thing, and it would be an instant hit.
Okay.
Interesting. I would never even think to try and use the gun not with the laser. Is that where your mind goes? Like fire it like a real gun?
No, I always had laser on. Because
How many VR missions are there?
Over. I'd be lying. I'd say over 400. I don't know, but I looked up. I looked up a like 100% full video guide for the VR missions. It's
Yeah.
7 hours 50 minutes long.
Oh my god.
It takes
That's
like just
almost as
as
long as
long.
the entire fucking game.
Yeah, and this is him like nailing every single one back to back. It's not even him like
Oh,
failing anything.
it's not even like a normal human, which it would take three
No.
times as long as the normal game.
Mm.
But dude,
Did-
you could say that's pure content, dude. That is
yeah.
fucking
Did- I did like every trophy before the VR missions, and I really should have done it like the opposite way because not only did it take so goddamn long to do this, but I was so good at the game after I finished this. I should have did it and then played the game because I
and
would
they
have
just
been
and they
so
just
much better.
instantly fucking beat the fuck out of the campaign super quick.
Yeah, because the way VR missions do, they do like quantity over quality.
Right.
So like every single weapon has like at least 5 VR missions for it. So like Stinger, Nikita, all that.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and they also make you like do sneaking sections. They make you do sneaking, take out every single enemy
Uh-huh.
without getting caught. They make you do.
Oh, so you
Take out
become a
every
god. You basically, well, that's like the point, though, isn't it? Because literally, that was the whole point of Raiden's existence. It's like I've done 500 missions in VR.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna bring up because I was so good at the game. I was like, all right, Raiden, like, sorry I doubted you at the beginning of the game, but it's really cringy when he's like, I have 400 confirmed missions in VR. I know. What
Yeah,
I'm
but
doing.
it's like fuck. Once you do all those 400 fucking missions, you do become the elite. Maybe I'll jump into those because
There's a lot of really cool ones too. They do like there's a VR section for hold up, so you have to like hold up every single enemy. But there's one where there's like 10 enemies in one hallway, like in a straight file line, so you can't
Yeah.
really do anything. So what you have to do is you have to like run up to the corner of the hallway, knock on the corner, so all of them get alerted.
Mhm.
So then they all run in a straight file line, like straight to you,
And then you just go
have- freeze,
hold it,
freeze,
freeze.
Yeah, but the thing is that they give you like the M4 for that, which has like the lightest pressure sensitivity.
Kill thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're like freeze, and they blow somebody's brains out.
You
Like,
get excited because you get excited. You just fucking spray the last 4 guys.
yeah,
Dude, so that's actually something wild. That carries through from 1, 2, and 3. The PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3 had context-sensitive buttons or pressure-sensitive buttons where if you could press a button on the PS3 controller softly and firmly, and that carried through into Metal Gear because obviously this is a PlayStation first party series, so it like utilized every bit of hardware that PlayStation had. And one of the big things in 2 and 3 and 1 is weapons. At least in I'm gonna say 3 as my example. I don't remember it in because I thought you could just equip your weapon, go into first person, he pulls the gun out, and then you press square to fire. Am I correct?
you have to like hold down the button
To fire.
to pick up the gun. Then you have to like press it harder to fire it. I believe.
Okay. So yeah. So you basically you tap like you like lightly press square and he pulls it up and then you firmly press it in and he'll pull the trigger. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of the weirdest things that like you have to get used to when you're playing Metal Gear, and you will absolutely fuck it up more than once. I mean, you'll fuck it up with experience. I mean, I fucked it up all the time in
Oh,
3.
you do it all the time.
Because it's just like it's something like your brain doesn't automatically because you're used to just like you press the button and the thing happens. You're not used to having 2 phases of a single button basically.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, hold, sure, but this isn't hold. Literally press it lightly, and then if you press it all the way in, it's 2 completely fucking different things.
It's fire
And then
up.
hold is like, you know, they don't have any holds in well, actually, they have. Actually, so in Metal Gear Solid 3, they introduced the CQC system. And in that, you tap circle to punch, you hold circle lightly to grab, and then you firmly press it, and you will cut the dude's throat. So a lot of the times what you'll do is you'll grab somebody and instantly stab their throat. So it's like if you're doing a no kill playthrough, it's fucked because you got too excited or you tried to like see a guy and you grab him and you get to go and he just fucking dies and you're just like no, no. I've had that happen a lot.
Yeah, and there's a couple enemies in this game where when you hold them up, because like the whole gimmick around holding people up is so you can like make them shake or make them shake and they like drop their dog tags or sometimes items. But there's some guys who are like tough guys who don't do anything when you hold them up.
One of them pulls a rocket launcher out on you, right?
Yeah, but the way to actually make them like to shake them down, yeah, you could punch them in the balls or something.
Wait, I thought you could point at their balls.
Yeah, you can point at their balls, but you can also just hold them up with the rocket launcher.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Right. Yes.
And then he starts shaking. But so if you hold him up with the rocket launcher, but you accidentally press too hard, then you just blow both you and him out of the park.
That's fucking great. Oh man.
There's also a VR mission section where like there's 10 missions that solely take place in first person. And they like make a whole new control system just for that section. So you're
really?
You're shooting, you're going prone all in first person mode, and it's really fucking hard because you're not used to it.
I gotta play these VR missions. That sounds fucking sweet. So let's
They're really
talk
fun
about the actual story. Since we're actually 40 minutes in, which is fucking perfect. I mean, we're right on track for this being a good episode. So the story, like you said, this game is divided into two parts: the tanker and Big Shell, and you can actually choose to just do one or the other. Can you do that when you first start the game?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so after you beat the game, you can just do one or the other, which is totally great. Like you can just skip the tanker and get right to the original, like the actual story, or you can only do the tanker and enjoy just playing as Snake.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I feel like the Big Shell is the game, and the tanker is more like a prologue type thing that's optional to play to if you want to.
Absolutely, I believe that as well. That is exactly my mentality. So you can just because like the tanker, so the tanker takes place 2 years before the main game, which is the Big Shell incident. So this is in the like the New York fucking river. I don't remember the name of it.
Hudson Bay.
Hudson Bay. Thank you, Mike. And you play as Solid Snake. Basically, a few years after Shadow Moses, Otacon and Snake created an anti-Metal Gear unit called Philanthropy. And I always wanted a Philanthropy game. That would have been like the fuck. If Konami ever makes another fucking Metal Gear game, I want Metal Gear Solid Philanthropy. That's what I fucking want. That would be so fucking fun. So basically, you go onto this tanker because you received insider information that there's going to be a new Metal Gear on it. And your goal as Philanthropy is to sort of shut down Metal Gears. Metal Gears are a nuclear-capable, heavy arms, like automated mecha, essentially, in the Metal Gear universe. And they're an incredibly capable weapon.
The whole gimmick, I think, is they can fire it like an undetected nuke from like anywhere in the world to anywhere else in the world.
Metal Gear Solid 1, the entire conflict was Metal Gear Rex had a railgun that was able to fire an untraceable nuclear missile basically anywhere. Yeah. And in 3, it's the same thing. And in 2, we sort of find out that Ray is not necessarily the Metal Gear that we are after. We're actually after a separate Metal Gear.
Yeah, because they, in the whole, 10-minute long prologue to this thing where it's just like Otacon and Snake talking about the events that happened after MGS1 going into MGS2, apparently, every single website and corporation known to man has made their own version of Metal Gear.
Right, because the blueprints leaked after the Shadow Moses incident.
So the whole purpose of this thing is the Marines are making their own version of Metal Gear called Metal Gear Ray, and its entire purpose is to be able to take down other Metal Gears.
It is an amphibious anti-Metal Gear Metal Gear.
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be the best of the best. And we actually get to see. God, I haven't reached it yet in my Metal Gear Solid 4 playthrough, but that fucking Rex versus Ray fight is like the most beautiful shit in the world.
Yeah. And
Oh,
the other thing I really like about Ray is it sucks in water and like uses it as a laser beam.
yeah. I love that. It's a highly. So I was actually going to ask you about that. It is, in fact, a highly pressurized beam of water.
Yeah, but it just cuts through like
Anything.
any type of metal.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I like that too. It breathes it in. You can actually watch it like the water like swells towards it, and then it
Yeah.
fires this fucking highly pressurized beam of water that can like slice through metal. Oh, it's so sick. It's got like missile bays. It can fire missiles. It can fucking shoot lasers. Water lasers.
Plus,
It
it just looks really cool too.
it does look pretty. It looks like a manta ray. It looks like it has like a tail. If you've ever played Zone of the Enders, which is like came out between 1 and 2, fucking a beautiful. I mean, just fuck, dude. Yoji Shinkawa is one of the best fucking artists out there. His mech designs are fucking amazing. You know, cheers to Yoji Shinkawa. I have the art book as part of my legacy collection. Amazing, dude. It's so great seeing his fucking art. So, essentially, the tanker mission is Snake and Otacon's mission to reveal the existence of Metal Gear Ray. They're not necessarily trying to stop it, but what they're trying to do is say, hey, look, you know, the military is making a secret weapon, and we're going to reveal that. So you get the tanker mission. It's like 2 hours long. It's actually like pretty goodly sized. It's fun. It's totally.
It's like on a opening playthrough, it takes like 2 hours. But if you know what you're doing, you can get through this thing in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, pretty quick. I got a little lost a few times. It's I think for me at least, I went out like a door and then I just totally fucking got lost and had to like go through the whole fucking level again because I forgot how to get back where I was. But yeah, it's actually pretty quick once you know where to go because it's just one path. It's a straightforward path. Every door that you shouldn't go is locked basically, and you just scroll through and you get down to the bottom level, and then you do like that. You do that cool sneaking mission where there's like a ton of dudes in one room. Oh my god, this scared the fuck out of me, and I didn't get caught, but I could have. He goes, alert, enemy to the left, and they all fucking turn. Alert, enemy to the right, and it fucking turns. And I was just like, oh fuck, it wasn't actually at me. He goes, okay, well that's what we would do if there was actually an enemy in this room. And I was like, oh my fucking god. But if you're in a position where you can get seen and you don't know that that's coming your first time playing, you're gonna get alerted. And you're gonna have to restart.
You're focusing on like sneaking around. You're not focusing on what like the speech the guy's giving. So then he's like, "All right, let's relax here, like to the left," and then
everyone fucking looks at you, and he goes, "Huh?" And then you just fail. You get the game over. But yeah, well, so
as far as sound design, like the first guy sees you and like it gets alerted, and then like he yells at everybody. Like, yeah, like that.
As all the exclamation points pop up, I fucking love that, dude. I love it. So basically, your goal is to take pictures of Metal Gear. But this is where you were talking about, where you can send pictures to Otacon that aren't exactly important. So like, you meet this like little Raven statue, and if you take a picture of that, you get some dialogue. It's like, huh? Raven? Wow. Okay, and he just fucking like downloads it or whatever.
There's no reason why it should be there, but it's there anyway.
Yeah, and then you get like there's ghosts. I never saw any of the ghosts.
Ghosts?
Because you had to do that's part of the achievement, right? You have to capture a picture of every ghost on the tanker, correct?
I probably did it, but I fucking forgot.
So there's these ghosts on the tanker, and you have to take a picture of them, and you get an achievement for it. But he goes, "Oh my god, spooky ghosts! Whoa, weird." You can get a picture of Revolver Ocelot in that room, from what I understand. And he goes, huh? Who's that? Like, he seems familiar, you know? And there's like this, like, all this, like, really cool hidden dialogue from these pictures that you can take that are, like, totally fucking optional. Like, you don't have to pull your picture up, your camera up one time until you get to the fucking Metal Gear room, and you take the 3 pictures and you leave, and that's it. And he just goes bing, 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 done. Cutscene. Tinker mission is over. That's it. That's all you have to fucking do. But it's really cool to like. It's just again like that soul, that little bits of detail that comes in Metal Gear, where that's all optional dialogue. The stuff with like you snake jacking off, that's all optional, and
Yeah.
you find it on your 5th playthrough when you're just kind of like fucking around, and I really like that. It's something that like really attracts me to this series is it doesn't feel like normal games. There's like more fucking dialogue in these games than most modern day games combined.
Yeah. And they do this really well with codec calls too. So like you're not like required to like ever call anybody in this game ever, as opposed to like one.
Right.
But like for basically every single mission for what you're doing, you can just like call somebody and they have like at least a few lines to say about what you're supposed to be doing in the
Dude,
mission.
yeah, I would get lost in 2 and 3 and be like, oh, fuck, what do I have to do? And you call, like, your main dude, and he goes, hey, you need to fucking go to this area and do this. And I was like, oh, perfect. Like, you literally have, like, a journal, like an active, live journal system that tells you exactly what you fucking need to do with the codec calls. And I eventually want to talk about Metal Gear Solid 3, but I kind of want to talk about this right now since it's on my mind. There is a scene in Metal Gear Solid 3 where a character says, "Remember the Alamo," and he fires a nuclear missile called a Davy Crockett at his homeland and blows it up. And I always wondered why Volgan said, "Remember the Alamo." And I called Sigint, the dude who handles basically firearms, military tactics, weapons, and items in this game, and gives you descriptions of them. One of the first ones, because I never called this motherfucker in all my playthroughs for whatever reason. I called him this time because I was like, what does he have to say? He goes, the Davy Crockett is named after a hero of the Alamo. I was like, wow.
There you go.
Fucking 5 years of me wondering why the fuck Volgan said, "Remember the Alamo." He explains it. Fucking, you call him one time, and he tells you what the fucking where it comes from. I was just like, okay, like these are the things, right? Like he wrote the game. It's like I didn't know who fucking David Crockett. I'm American. I have no fucking clue who David Crockett is. He's Japanese. He apparently fucking knows more about me. He's a Westaboo, but I mean, I was fucking born here, dude. I don't have to pass any tests about knowing about my own shit. So. David Crockett, remember the Alamo, didn't click until I called him, and he was like, oh, David Crockett was like the hero of the Alamo. And I think, Metal Gear Solid 2 has the same shit where you can just call people, and they will give you info about Fat Man, about the bosses. They'll give you information about the levels that you're in. They'll give you information about weapons, tactics, enemies, locations, items to use. If you're in a box and you call somebody, they're going to be like, why are you in that box? I mean, it's just like... There's just so much dialogue, and it's totally optional. I mean, they recorded all this shit, and you don't have to hear a fucking word of it.
All this shit that 99% of people will never hear.
Never hear. But, like, some people will, and, like, that's why it's there. And if you're that kind of person, dude, I'm telling you, this game's for you. This has so much fucking optional dialogue that you can just sit and codec call people back to back, and they'll just give you new shit. In Metal Gear Solid 3, excuse me, the save file woman, she talks about a new movie every time you save. Every time. She talks about a movie from the 50s to the 60s before fucking the Snake Eater mission, basically. She talks about a random movie. Hot Moms from Outer Space, like that kind of shit. She talks about all that. She talks about all that shit. And she gives you like a quick description of it, and then she just moves on. And it actually, honestly, all of those movies have sort of like an in as to what the story is currently about, which is actually pretty fucking cool. So
all them reference stuff going on within the game.
Kind of, in a way, right? And you can kind of go, because she always goes, like, she always wraps it up with like well, don't do this, or blah, blah, blah. kind of like Mei Ling in 1 and Otacon in the tanker incident, where he gives you those stupid fucking sayings that are fucking completely wrong. He's like, remember those people's bird, don't Don't let it
He's
drown.
trying.
It's like he's like, I think it means don't let your bird drown. Don't go in water, snake. Don't go in the water, and you won't die. Just remember their bird. And then like he hangs up, and he goes, I don't think that's right. And it's like he's like, I'm pretty sure it is. And then the call ends, and you're just like, dude, all this shit is fucking wrong. Like Otacon's just talking at his fucking ass. He has no fucking clue what's happening. Those ones
See,
are.
but those are good, but the worst one is probably in this game when you call Rose to save, right?
Do you remember what day it is tomorrow? No.
No.
Well, then I'm just gonna keep bugging you until you remember. Fucking, I saw your bedroom. There was nothing in there, not even a photo. It was just cold walls with nothing on them and just a cot on the floor. Who can live like that? Who are you? I know nothing about you. You won't let me in your life. Now that is almost, I swear to God, word for word a call.
You don't like when she's like, "Oh, do you remember what we did today, Jack?
No.
We watched King Kong like nine times.
I said it was the Capitol building. You said it was the fucking Empire. Or no, I said it was the Empire State.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
We went back to your apartment and we watched King Kong 9 times that night. So, fuck. So basically, Rose, according to the things, I'm a fucking nerd. Okay, I like things, I read about them. According to the fucking things that I read, Rose is one of the only fucking women in all of the Kojima-verse that was based on an actual woman. And she sounds like that. Like,
It was based on a woman?
yeah. Well, he tried to make a real woman. Instead of making Meryl, who's like a superhero, and making fucking,
Quiet.
Quiet and shit. Instead of like doing that, he based Rose and thought about Rose and tried to make Rose like a real woman, like his ex-wife or some shit. Like he basically fucking made it after his girlfriend, and she's a total cunt. And like it's just a trip. I mean,
Did he make Rose because he didn't like her and he wanted to like make fun of her, or
no.
what?
He kept hearing that like his women were unrealistic, so he tried to make a realistic woman. And then
So that's realistic.
that was like the aftermath of that. And honestly, actually, Rose isn't that bad. Now that I've played it again, she honestly isn't that bad.
I more so dislike Raiden in all the scenes with Rose because
Right.
like whenever there's like a story thing going on where you're talking to the Colonel and then Rose pipes in, he's like Rose. Like he's so surprised.
Yeah, it's like you're
she's
still here.
Yeah, like,
It's like, yeah, dude, we announced that she was going to be part of this team in the first 5 minutes. It's like,
it still occurs like more than halfway through the game. It's like Rose. It's like
yeah, I'm still here. It's like, oh. I literally Snapchatted it. Because I was like, so I was in the call and I was like, she was talking about like not knowing him as a person, and I literally said in the call, I was like, dude, the next time I save, I'm getting the room call. And then fucking literally the next time I saved, I got the room call, and I was like, I Snapchatted it, and I was like, boom, I fucking knew it. Like I know exactly. Like I remember this fucking game. Like your room, and I was just like, fuck. But she's honestly not that bad. To be honest, like she didn't aggravate me as much as she did the first time I played it. She kind of just seems like a caring girlfriend who actually does genuinely care about you, and you're just a fucking retard and you don't know what your anniversary is. Like, dude, obviously you're the dick in this situation, but
she cares so much about you.
She just does genuinely care. She actually cares so much that in fucking 4 she fakes marrying a dude and fakes that your kid wasn't born or whatever so that she can hide from the Patriots so that your kid doesn't fucking die, and then in the end
you still hate her.
Yeah, you still fucking hate her. And she's fucking sexy in 4. Holy shit, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck. Actually, apparently she's only like 20 years old, but she looks like a sexy ass MILF. You know what I'm saying? Technically, she is a MILF, so
And 4, yeah.
Yeah, she's actually technically a MILF. I mean, I'd fucking hit the fuck out of that. You know what I'm saying? No, and
Okay.
she has like a sexy, smooth voice. Yeah, it's no wonder it raises your psych. Um, and then after the tanker incident, so basically you meet your mind-controlled Revolver Ocelot brother arm thing that doesn't go anywhere in Metal Gear Solid 2. Absolutely goes nowhere.
No.
It's pretty fucking stupid, honestly, until you hit 4 and then it actually starts happening some more. But
No, I
dumb.
thought it in at the end of 2, you're like Ocelot's about to kill everybody, but then he gets taken over by Liquid, and Liquid just like runs
And then
away.
Snake dives off Arsenal, and that's the last you see of it. Nothing fucking happens.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was so like all this build up for this cool mind control shit, and you see Ocelot 3 times in the fucking game, and I'm like, okay, and so that's dumb. So basically, at the end of the tanker, Liquid Ocelot shows up, which is what his name is in 4. Takes Metal Gear Ray and blows the ship up and sinks it, and Snake is dead and buried. Uh, and he fakes his death basically by using Liquid's body, and that's true. That is actually true. It's not like a Patriot lie. Um,
And they
and
basically frame Snake for the entire situation.
yes, they frame Snake for causing a environmental hazard in the Hudson Bay, and the Big Shell has to be built because of it. But we find out during the Big Shell incident that that was all fucking bullshit, and it is actually a front to hide the actual goal of Metal Gear Solid 2, the actual Metal Gear of Metal Gear Solid 2, Arsenal Gear. Now, Arsenal Gear is a fucking huge multi-weapons platform that can control rays, has fucking the ability to fire many, many nukes, has missile barrages, and is the home of the GWAI system, and also we find out in 4 the home, or at least one of the components of the Patriots AI system. Uh, yeah.
And it has like 25 to 30 Metal Gear rays on
Right,
it
at
to
all
defend it
times.
from everything else.
They do say, though, that Arsenal Gear is kind of a piece of shit if you don't have an army as well. They
Yeah.
actually mention that at the end. So it is sort of like it unstoppable, but you need to have the American army behind you. And the person who's trying to take it over, Solidus Snake, George George Sears, the former president of the United States, who actually his goal is to actually abolish the Patriots. So now we're getting into it, okay? And this is one of the reasons why Metal Gear Solid 2 is such a fucking mindfuck, and why it's so hard to understand. The Patriots is a system devised 100 years ago. It used to be called the Wise Man's Committee. It was a group of 12 men and women built up during World War II and during the Cold War. People from all over the world combined and created a community called the Wise Man's Committee. These people shaped every world event past their creation, basically. We find out that the Wise Man's Committee, now named the Patriots after the events of Snake Eater, they changed their name from the Wise Man's Committee to the Patriots. They actually are in control of damn near every fucking thing that happens in the world. They are in control of money, economy, media, everything. And one of the things that George Sears, solid as Snake, is setting out to do is he's trying to destroy the Patriots because we're entering the age of information. And as we're entering the age of information, the Patriots' goal is to control and monitor censor the flow of information so that they can create the world that they envision. They can
Because they fear all this information is basically going to invalidate them, so they want to take all the information, basically modify it so they can still control what's coming up.
Right. So imagine like, internet censorship. And the thing is the wild thing about this game came out what, like 9 years ago? Even
Like
more?
right when the internet was
Right
basically
when the
becoming
internet, like fucking 2004 or 5 or some shit, like even more than 10 years ago. And it's incredibly relevant to today because we are getting censored online. People are trying to control what you say. Things that you say are being monitored and looked at, and they're going through lists, and you're being targeted for what you say. And this game kind of frames all of that as like this otherworldly new world order type conspiracy where the things that come out, like say a school shooting happens, the Patriots could, instead of it being just some fucking kid, it could be like a terrorist attack by another country attack this school, and they would control every ounce of information that comes out, and they could create a world based on the information that. Oh shit. BRB.
Oh.
Wait, no. Never mind. No. I was worried. I thought I fucking left the dog outside for like 40 fucking minutes. I let that dog back in before I came back.
Another example they use is like
Holy fuck.
when you're talking to EE, she says like she says like how many letters are there in the alphabet? And Ryan's like
25? 26?
Yeah, and she's like, why couldn't it have been 30? And he's like, what do you mean?
Yeah. So it's this sort of really it's
more relevant now than it was.
It's very fucking relevant now. But the interesting thing is it's complex, but it's simple. Essentially, a group of people are controlling all the information in the world, and we find out we find out in 4 basically that George Sears was fucking right. He was trying to stop the Patriots, something that nobody else was doing. In fact, the main character of this game, Raiden, is fucking working for the Patriots, and he doesn't even know it until the last fucking 10 minutes of the game. That's why the mindfuck is so good, because we are killing a man that is just trying to set the world free.
Yeah, it's like in the last like half an hour of this game, you basically kind of realize like, oh, Solidus isn't really the villain, kind of. And like,
yes, he is trying to kill you. Yes,
yeah, he's still trying to kill you. And that's what kind of makes the last boss fight kind of like weird. It's you're fighting him because you have to, not because like he needs to die, if that makes sense.
Right. Basically it's like we're gonna fucking the Patriots like you have to kill him.
Yeah.
And
because he needs to kill you because apparently your body like has the information of where the Patriots are or some convoluted shit like that.
Dumb bullshit. So it slips a little bit. But so one of the themes throughout this game, and I was talking to you about this as I was playing it, you enter the big Raiden. You are now in control of Raiden. 2 years fast forward, we're at the Big Shell incident. You are now in control of the actual main character of the game, Raiden. Snake does appear later, but the reason that happened is because Kojima said that Snake couldn't develop as a character if you played as him again. You kind of have to look on him as a legendary hero, and then his character can grow. And you can grow as a character trying to emulate Snake, basically. So, you take control of Raiden. And one of the first things fucking Campbell says to you is, don't talk to anybody. Don't let anyone fucking know you're here. This is a stealth mission. And I'm like, okay, yeah, obviously it's a stealth mission. Don't interact with anybody. We want to keep this a secret. There's a terrorist activity going on at Big Shell. We want to stop it. We want to keep everything a secret. Obviously, it all makes sense. But little tiny things keep getting revealed to you through the game, and you can notice it. Even on your first playthrough, you can kind of see that not everything is as it seems. Like, one time, I remember Raiden brings up, like, what about the $30 billion ransom? And Snake goes, what ransom? What are you talking about? And
even
2 people do that. Even
Fat
a fucking villain.
Too.
Yeah, Fat Man. A villain that is like, what ransom? And he goes, oh, that must be blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously, Fat Man was sort of a wild card. But That happens 2 times. Raiden brings up something that he was briefed on that nobody else who's part of the Big Shell incident knows about. And this keeps happening where Raiden's like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to talk to anybody." And he's like, "Oh, I'm Iroquois Pliskin. Like, I'm not Snake. Snake's dead and buried. You know, I'm here to help you out." And your Campbell goes, "He's not part of. He's not part of this. He wasn't
The
part of the
simulation or
simulation.
something.
He
Yeah.
wasn't part of the simulation." And he keeps saying that because one of the big things that wasn't supposed to happen as part of this, the S3 system, which I will go into in a little bit, one of the things that wasn't supposed to happen is Snake wasn't supposed to show up. Snake
Right.
was supposed to be dead. As far as the Patriots knew, Snake was dead. Because they did the autopsy, it matched genetically because they found obviously the body of Liquid Snake, so they are a genetic equal. They're exactly the same because they're twins. So they thought that Snake was dead, and Snake arriving on the scene to fuck around during the Big Shell incident throws a wrench in the Patriots' plans. And you only find out, like we said, that you're a worker of the Patriots in like maybe the last hour of the game, maybe
Yeah.
even less than that. And it's a trip because I mean, at least me as the player, and I've beaten the game, but I was starting to, like, notice things a little bit more, and I was starting to, like, question things as I was playing. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I kept talking to you. I was like, dude, is this real or is this the Patriots? And you're like, dude, I don't fucking know. And I was like, dude, I was like lost, and I was trying to like figure out like why does Raiden not have any fucking information that like Snake does? Like Snake has fucking more information than you, and you're the dude who was briefed on this fucking mission. Snake just fucking showed up. Like, why does that keep happening? And then it's like they reveal to you slowly, like you were literally sent in as an agent of the Patriots to stop George Sears from taking Arsenal gear and defeating the Patriots. Like, you are literally working for the real enemy of the Metal Gear series. And it was a total, absolute fucking mind fuck.
And the thing I really like about this game is they gradually like reveal all that information to you over the course of the game. So like
Yeah.
once you land on the big shell, the colonel is talking to you. He's like, "Okay, your mission is go on to Big Shell, like take out all these terrorists, save every hostage,
Save the president. Yeah.
save the president from the $30 billion ransom, and prevent like the
The
biggest
nuclear
natural
strike. The nuclear strike.
prevent the nuclear strike, and prevent like the biggest environmental disaster in history." So
oh,
like
that right. No, that was another big one. I want to cut you. Oh, are you going to talk about that? Is that where you're going to? The environmental disaster conversation?
I'll just take like 30 seconds.
Go.
But,
Yeah.
So this was my first Metal Gear game. So like I had no fucking clue what I was getting into with this whole
Right.
thing. So like that whole intro where the colonel's talking to you about all these objectives, I'm like, damn, that's like pretty hefty. Like that's an entire game's worth of stuff I could be doing right there. And it's like I had no idea like anything would ever escalate past this, but like everything he just named to you is stuff that like doesn't matter at all
None of it.
in
Yeah.
the entire context of the game.
Because basically, George Shears is using the president. The president doesn't matter. They revealed to you that they had nuclear strike capabilities from second one. The ransom isn't real. And this was the thing I fucking cut you off about was the environmental disaster. This is one of the big things where I fucking question myself too. Is it was like he goes, "Oh, this is a chemical filtering plant. Like, if something happens, you know, it's gonna like wipe out like half the world's
Half the ocean,
aquatic
pretty much.
population." And Snake goes, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, and he just fucking hits him. He's like, "You know, the environment." And Snake's like, no. And you're kind of just like, wait, why does this keep happening? Because you, as the player, know Solid Snake. You know he's a fucking badass. You
You're
played the
supposed
tanker
to
mission.
trust him too.
Yeah, you trust Snake because you played as him in 1, you played as him for the first part of 2, and you meet him again in 2. And you just know, like you have something inside you that goes, I trust Snake. Snake is saying something isn't right. Why does that keep happening? Why does Snake keep saying that like my mission is totally fucked, that everything I know is wrong? Why does that keep happening? And it keeps fucking happening. And you go through the game, and every time you say something out loud to Snake, and this is the reason Campbell actually told you to not talk to anybody, is because every fucking time Raiden says something out loud about the actual cause of what's going on, the actual things that the terrorists are after, it's all wrong. Everything that Raiden says is totally fucking wrong about what the actual motivations are going into this mission.
Yes.
And it's beautiful because it's revealed to you super slowly.
And every time you bring up Snake to the Colonel, like the Colonel, like low-key gets pissed. He's like,
so mad.
Yeah, he's like, don't trust him, even if he is Snake. Like, he's not part of this mission. Just finish the mission.
Yeah, and you wonder why. You're like, but why? You guys used to work together. I mean, you guys were friends. I mean, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep telling me he wasn't part of the simulation? Like, I get that, but I literally have the legendary hero Snake right next to me, and he's helping me. Why are you so fucking angry about it? And he does. He gets fucking pissed. He gets pissed every time you go, I just talked to Snake. And he goes, just stop talking about Snake. Stop talking about him. He's not part of the simulation. Stop it. And you're just like, fuck, dude. Shit. Like, all right. And, you know, it's one of the beautiful things because it all clicks right at the end when fucking Campbell has his meltdown. And you find out that that's happening. So basically, the codec calls work like this. You get a call. The game freezes. You go into this screen where it has faces of two people and the dialogue of what's being said. Throughout the game, you get many codec calls. You can make optional ones. And every time, you basically get this screen and you codec call people. And dialogue happens, and then the game moves on. During the last 45 minutes of the game, you're getting bombarded with calls, more than you've ever gotten in the game. And the non-optional ones are fucking disturbing, where you basically, Campbell turns into this like skull-faced Campbell. It's kind of hard to describe, but he has like his skull is basically visible through his face, and it's like when you first see it, you'll definitely be like, I mean, this is like major fuck. This game is 15 years old. We have spoiled the whole game, but it's like I really want people to play this game themselves. It's just so good. But you get to it, and Campbell starts fucking, you know, telling you that you're getting cucked. He starts telling you, he's like, you know, and there's this major meltdown where he goes like, I need scissors, and he's just like literally like his brain is melting. And you find out that's because literally his actual AI brain that has fucking been controlling this whole mission is in fact melting because of the shit that's going on with George Sears, Solid as Snake. Because the GW virus that EE fucking threw in. And, I mean, it's just a total fucking mindfuck. And then you descend into the beast and you find out that the true goal of Solidus was actually to set the world free of the Patriots. You find the Patriots are like this thing that exists. And then at the very end, the post-credit sequence is that you find the Patriots have been dead for over 100 years, so they are an actual AI system that is controlling everything in the world. And it has a lot of relevance today because of the way that media is contorted and controlled, and the things that you hear and see go through a filter of politics. I mean, if you watch the news, it goes through a filter of how can we politicize this for our side. And it kind of goes along with that. And it goes along with that before any of it ever happened. Any of it. And it's beautiful to listen to the things that are happening and what the Patriots' goal is. And then you just like literally just turn the fucking TV on right after finishing this game and just turn on Fox News MSNBC, CBS, turn it all on, watch it all, and just watch that it's all the same news but put through a filter. It's all things to ramp people up and get you pissed off because that's the goal. And it's like, well, what if the goal is by this entity, this governing body that is above everyone else? And in 4, the direct sequel to 2, we find out that this AI system does take control of the world, the entire world, and it creates a world of total, nonstop, unending war and the death and despair. And, you know, the whole goal of 4 is to actually finally defeat the Patriots and set the world free, which is fucking Solidus's vision from the beginning. I mean, his whole goal to fire the nuclear missile into the air and EMP the entire world, it wasn't because he was a fucking terrorist and he wanted to set the world back to the Dark Ages. He wanted to get rid of the AI control over the world.
I think he didn't want to like nuke. He couldn't like nuke the entire world. He wanted to detonate it over Manhattan and basically take Manhattan off the grid. And then he wanted to go in there as like the ex-president and take control of Manhattan as a leader and rebel.
But it would shut down a bunch of shit. It would shut down the stock market for like It would the world would reset basically, and that's what his goal was. But his goal was to thwart the Patriots the only way he knew how, and we only find out that he was actually a hero after you kill him. And I think that's like, it's such a beautiful boss fight and ending to the game in that way, because you literally fight him in the Harrier. He strangles you. You know, you fight him you fight the Rays. You do all this shit, and only right at the fucking end do you find out like, oh no, there's an evil entity controlling the world, and he was like the only dude who was like, oh, I'm gonna stop this. And you know, when him falling on the George Washington monument meant a lot, because George Washington, which is why he's my favorite president of all time, he was the man that refused to be king. George Washington, when he did his first presidency, he did his, I think he did 8 years. Yeah. Yep. He was like, no. Like, everyone was like, hey, be the king of America. Like, we love you. Like, can you please be the king of America? He was like, no. This is the reason we left Britain. We need to elect our officials. Nobody deserves to be the leader of the world if they're not elected, if they aren't chosen by the common man. And he took a step back, and that created the idea of the American presidency. And George Sears, the main villain, Solidus Snake of Metal Gear Solid 2, had the same ideals, where the Patriots, this system that nobody elected, that controls things from behind the scenes, and they even talk about this in the game, controls all the elections, prosecutions, laws. All of it is handled by the Patriots, and it's just like a show on TV. You don't have any say in it. You know, voting, elections, none of it matters. That actually, the parallel between that and the Trump and Hillary fucking election, that's like, dude, like, I mean, like, literally finish this game and look at some shit that's been going on. It's a trip. And
what I love too is the whole reasoning behind why Solidus wanted to do that was, during his presidency, he realized like he wasn't actually in control, and the Patriots were actually in control. So there's like a dynamic between him and the president you rescue in this game, where Solidus, instead of like basically submitting to the Patriots, he's like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna try to carve my own name into history.
Right.
I think that's like a phrase he uses.
I think that's like an exact line.
Yeah, because he can't have kids or something. He wants to mark his name in history as like somebody who helped save the United States. Whereas whoever the hell the president is this game, he's like, well, I'm not really in power, so I want to join the Patriots and be in power with them.
Right. So I want to have power by holding them hostage and making them let me join the committee, the Wise Men's Committee.
That's what he wants.
That's what the actual president that dies wants. And well, I mean, obviously fucking Solidus dies too, and that's why they're total polar opposites. And I think that's another great like dichotomy, where the dude who's currently in power succumbs to this overarching power and says, "Well, I'm gonna fucking hold them hostage because I want to be part of like the real rulers of the world." Where fucking George Sears, Solidus, the rebellion, the American fucking patriot, the dream, he was like, "No, I'm gonna destroy this unfair system, and I'm going to be a hero because of that, because I set forth new ideals, true patriotic, libertarian ideals." His fucking the Sons of the Patriots, or what is it called? The Sons of Liberty.
Sons of
The
Liberty.
Sons of Liberty icon is literally the fucking "Don't Tread on Me" libertarian flag with some fucking lines through it. So he has libertarian ideals of personal freedom. But under the Patriots, we have no personal freedom. We don't have any choice. We don't have anything. The Patriots control everything. And I think the beautiful sequel, MGS4, where we get to see the fact that we fucked the world up by teaming up with the Patriots and not stopping it, not stopping them. And we see, like, they even say it in Metal Gear Solid 4, where we treated life like a video game, and then the reality sets in, and in MGS4 is the reality of the situation, where
Everything is just
the
fucked
world
up.
is hell. Yeah, the world is fucked up if we let this agency take over everything, and we don't live by our own ideals and carve our own destiny. I mean, dude, MGS2 is, it's honestly like one of the best Metal Gear games, and I've rated it so low for so long, and I honestly, after beating it now this last time, I feel really bad about that because I finally got it. Maybe because I'm a little bit older, my brain is bigger. I mean,
Right.
I just I really, I was obviously more into politics these last few years. It was just so interesting. And maybe I didn't get like the parallels from then to now of like the way things work, but it's an even better game now than it was then because of the things that go on today in the media and on the internet. I think it's fucking great, dude.
I think what helped improve it more was also the fact that 4 came out
Yeah.
and all the parallels between 2 and 4. And what I like is two's like a really it's, I don't know the right word, but 4 is like so fucked up, and when you play 2, you're like, this is the reason why 4 got fucked up so bad.
Yeah, and two's kind of cartoony,
Yeah.
and four is fucking not. And I like that. And you can see, and that's why they say that the reality sets in, and that's why 4 is such a grim game. I mean, it's dark as fuck. I mean, everybody's just like, the whole point is that like people are made into soldiers and made to fight, and the system suppresses all of those feelings of killing and murdering and pain. And if you take the system away, the world falls apart. And it's like, but it didn't have to come to this. We let it get this bad by not taking control when we
When you
should
could
have,
have
when we
through
could have.
Solidus and all that.
Yeah, and it's the beautiful. It's like a fantastic sequel 2 to 4 because it's fucking like 9 years after, and it's just, this is what happened to the world while you were playing video games and letting the world slip away. This is what the world became. And then it shows you like the truth of what the Metal Gear universe says the world can become: a world of war and pain and strife. And we the player caused it. And that's like one of the things too, is like, you, Mike, you caused Metal Gear Solid 4 to happen. I
No,
caused Metal Gear Solid 4 to happen. And that's the whole fucking point, because we listened to the Patriots up until the last second. We killed George Sears. We killed Solidus. We ended the game with the Patriots in command, and the world became MGS4. And I think it's fucking amazing, dude. I think it's fucking amazing. I really fucking like MGS2 now. And honestly, I really want to replay it. So I think I might. If I don't get major burnout, I really
From
want to
4.
play 3 again, because I started getting really fucking good at 3 near the end of it this last time, and I want to try and do it again and like be good the whole way through. And with 2, I started getting pretty good at the end, and I just want to like live in that scenario again, because I just think it's really cool.
See, that's kind of what I said at the beginning of this. I think MGS2 is a lot better to look back and think about it.
Right.
Think about like what it did for 4. Think about the parallels to real life, and I think it's better to do that than to kind of actually like play the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I can. Oh, I can. Like, yeah. I mean, once you play it, you kind of like you can just kind of like, man, MGS2 really got it right. You know, just like you can just look back on it and remember the things that happened.
Yeah.
The gameplay is a little jank. You know, uh, it is exactly Metal Gear Solid 1. Oh, by the way, I wanted to touch on that. The S3 system, the Solid Snake simulation, that's not actually the true purpose of the S3 system. Did you know that?
I think so, but explain it anyway.
The actual, so there's this thing. So Big Shell is an exact replica of the Shadow Moses incident, and you're told at the end of the game that the reason that that happened was because they wanted to see if they could create super soldiers like Solid Snake by recreating the incidents that made him a super soldier. But at the very end of the game, they revealed that the S3 system is not actually about creating a Solid Snake. It's about being able to create situations in people's lives that control them completely and, you know, make them go through the motions that the Patriots want, which is exactly what happens in MGS2. You do exactly what the Patriots want. You go from beginning to end, listening and doing what the Patriots want. You even kill George Sears. So that was the entire purpose of the S3 system, is if they could do that to you, then they can do that to every single person in the world. And they can make every person in the world follow exactly what they want, and they can create their own dream perfect world by just controlling everybody. That was the actual purpose of Big Shell, was to was to mind control the entire world.
I was gonna bring up like if this whole game was the Solid Snake simulation thing to create a Solid Snake, I was gonna say, what's the point of this when they basically made it so 5 was the entire like we can make anybody into Big Boss type thing?
Right.
So why would they need to do this when they already know like you can just take some random schmuck inside of a helicopter and make him into Big Boss and he would perform just as well?
He did have the right stuff, though. They said that he did have the right stuff. But the S3 system is actually about mind controlling the entire world, which is way cooler than creating a Solid Snake. It's actually like we can give. It was basically like, I think, like close to what they said, paraphrasing here. It was like we can give people goals and situations that they have to overcome, and we can do that for each person individually, and we can make them do exactly what we want because we just know them, and we can give them the situations to go through, and we can just make them do whatever we want because of that. And then we become the true leaders of the world because they don't even know. And that's the trick, right? You didn't know you were being controlled by the Patriots until the very end. So they don't know that they're being controlled by the Patriots. They're just living their lives, consuming television, consuming the internet, thinking what they think they want to think, that they're being told what to think, and they don't even know it. All the information they're getting is gone through a system of censorship, and they don't even know it. And if you look at the fucking modern world, it's just like that. It's super spooky. Like, everything that we consume goes through a fucking GW, man. It goes through the Patriots. It's fucking weird.
Goes through the media.
Yeah, just turn on a highly politicized news. Both sides do it. It's fucking weird. And they're both just trying to rile everybody up and create this constant conflict where nobody gets ahead, because all we're doing is fighting each other. And that's what George Sears was fighting against. It's like, dude, unite, defeat the Patriots, create the new world for yourself. Make what you want to make, be who you want to be. Fuck.
Because that's the whole, like, I guess theme at the very end, too. The whole, like, awkward last 20 minutes of cutscenes where Ryan's like, I don't even know who I am. Like, I'm nobody.
Right.
And Snake's like, well, you just have to, like,
carve your own path.
Carve your own path. And they spend like 20 minutes talking about like shit.
I did love that ending with the jazz and like showing the New York City streets.
I didn't.
Really? I honestly kind of liked it, dude. I thought it was good. I was like, dude, this is chill. Because after the whole fucking game, it's like it's a nice relaxing finish.
Yeah, okay, but I couldn't get past the fact that Arsenal Gear just crash landed in Manhattan,
Annihilated New York City.
and people were just walking by, like doing their own thing. They're not even thinking about it. It's like there's a huge ship covering up half the city.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what are you
guess
doing?
I can see that, but maybe that walking and shit didn't necessarily take place right during Arsenal Gear. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just sort
Maybe.
of like a view of the city, trying to show normal people.
No, but the police show up and they're like trying to deal with Solidus's body too.
Well, I know, but I mean, like after that, when they go to like the real people scenes where it's just like him narrating for fucking 15 minutes.
And they do like stock images of the American flag and shit.
Yeah, that, I think that's just supposed to be like symbolic. It's not supposed to
Oh, okay.
necessarily be like a big fucking plane just hit the Twin Towers times 100. Why are you guys all acting normal? I don't think that's supposed to be the I think it's supposed to just be like, carve your own path, be who you want to be.
I
So,
guess.
what would you? What's a good rating system we can use for MGS2? 1 through 5, like usual for Metal Gear, because there's 5 of them.
Do we do 1 through 5?
Yeah,
Uh,
and 1 being the worst. No, 5 being the worst, 1 being the best. Where would you place it?
1 being the best.
Yeah,
Uh, I guess I would do 3
yeah,
because
could see that.
I haven't played 3, but I
Yeah.
feel like 4 is better, and as much as you hate it, I feel like 5's better too.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. I would also give it a 3 out of 5, like right in the middle, but for different reasons. Because I think 3 is the best Metal Gear that's ever been made,
And
and
4 is better.
I think 4 is kind of tied with 2, and 1 is also kind of tied with 2. I think 2 is honestly really fucking good. I think I like the gameplay, I like the setup, I like the story, I like the variety in the gameplay. I really did enjoy going through it this last time. I mean, it was a lot of fucking, it was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
That's what it
And,
sounded like when I was hearing you playing it.
you know, and obviously 3 is better, but I think like 2 is honestly really fucking way better than I've been saying it is. And I think 4 is probably just like as good in some ways, better in some ways, not as good in other ways. I mean, it's just like Metal Gear is a super complicated series to rate because they're all kind of special in their own way, and they're all coming out at times, and they're kind of like futuristic for the time that they come out. They have like heavy themes that fall into things that are going on in the modern world and things like that. So I want to rate it relatively high, give it a 3. It would be before I played it this last time, it would have been a 4, with 5 being the worst.
With
And
1 being better than 2.
yeah, but I think honestly now 1 is way too dated for me. Why not just play 2? 2 is just 1 but
Right.
better, you know?
They play
And
Twin
so
Snakes.
I like 3. Well, Twin Snakes does the thing where they did all the gameplay of 2, but they did none of the AI of 2. So the AI is still brain dead 1.
So shitty.
Yeah, so you can just like look up in an area and they're like on steps and shit and they can't see you. You can just snipe every person in the map.
Yeah, that's why
and
it's
just walk
so
around.
easy because you
Yeah.
have first person mode.
Yeah, and you didn't have that in the original one. So, I would say 2 is above 1, 4 is tied with 2, and 3 is above them all. 5 is still at the bottom. So, fuck. This is a really fucking good game. I'm so glad I played it again, and I'm glad that we did a podcast on it because this is keeping with the theme of sort of Level Die doing shit way the fuck out of order.
Yeah. if you're wrapping up, I still have like 3 tiny things I want to
Say those
ask you.
beautiful 3 things. I am wrapping up.
Okay. First is we skated past the whole EE.
We did. We kept doing EE and then just not.
What
fucking
did you
diving.
think about her as a character? Because I
didn't like her.
You didn't like. What didn't you like about her?
I didn't think she was developed enough. I don't like the way that Otacon interacted with her. I think that she just didn't get enough time to be developed, honestly. Like, she probably could have been a really good character, but
Yeah,
we get
that's what I
introduced to her, we hang out with her, we see her, and then she's fucking dead. Like, and you
Yeah, and
spend so much time trying to save her, but you don't really talk to her. You don't learn anything about her. You don't get to know
they
her.
try to make her death like this really emotional thing, but it's like you knew this person for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like grow really attached to her, especially when
I
Snake
think
and Raiden are constantly going, "Oh, she's really cute, isn't she?" And I'm like,
right.
"No,
She's a 12-year-old girl. But
No.
also, actually, I believe the point of that scene with EE dying is not to feel bad for EE.
feel bad for
We're
Otacon."
supposed to feel bad for Otacon. Yes,
See,
he is the most punished character in all of Metal Gear. Every
But-
single person he's ever loved has died. That was the point of the scene, because his love, like, can love blossom on the battlefield, which is like a huge fucking moment in MGS1, where Otacon falls in love with Sniper Wolf, and then Snake kills Sniper Wolf, and then Sniper Wolf talks to Otacon like, "Dude, you were pretty lit. I kind of liked you." And then he holds Sniper Wolf in his arms, and she dies. And then we get a mirror of that with EE, and then we get a mirror of that again with fucking that fucking chick in 4,
Naomi.
So it happens to him 3 fucking times, and his fucking dad died. Well, he cucked his dad. He cucked his dad.
So I'm supposed to feel bad for Otacon because he got to like fuck his stepmom, and the daughter of the stepmom who also wanted to fuck him died.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. And also, like, he's had like 4 women like just throw themselves at him, and like they all died.
Chad,
like,
bro. Like, why is he so
like
Chad?
That's 4 more women than I've ever had. Like, I don't feel bad.
Oh, but do you think that's coming from a petty place and not like a?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
But also,
Oh my fucking god, dude. Okay.
I don't give a shit. But the whole like so EE leaves Otacon because
Oh
like
my god.
oh she doesn't leave, she's mad at Otacon because Otacon like fucked her mom, and but she didn't know that.
Yeah.
So because she's mad at Otacon,
Otacon left. Otacon left because he felt bad about fucking her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
and cucking his dad, and his dad dying, and not saving EE and letting her almost drown because he was too busy fucking her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So anyway, she's mad at him. So because she's so mad at him, she goes and develops like the whole GW thing that like destroys the world, right? Because she's mad at him.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to feel bad for her because she fucking died. Like she's a fucking bitch.
Yeah. Okay. I can fall in line with that. She did well. Okay. She was just trying to prove that she was as smart, if not smarter, than Otacon. And we actually find out in 4 that Otacon's a complete fucking retard, and he steals everything that he's ever made, ever. He stole the plans for 1 from the dude that made it in MGS3. He stole the Octo camo suit from some shit he read online. I mean, literally, Sonny, a person who was literally injected with more elephant serum to kill 50 fucking elephants, is smarter than fucking Otacon.
Yep.
And she develops fucking Blade Wolf in Revengeance, non-canon, but still. She's a fucking genius. Otacon's a fucking retard. And, okay, I can absolutely fall in line with EE totally being unreasonable. And I didn't like... The thing is, I never felt bad for EE dying. I never really gave a shit. The point for me was that Otacon lost another person in his life, another woman in his life that he genuinely seemed to care about. And since we care about or at least we should care about Otacon, it's kind of hard to watch him lose another person. I think for you, it would have a greater impact on you, that scene, if you had played MGS1. Because for me, the first time I saw it, I was like, fuck. He just lost another fucking person in his life. Like, I was actually genuinely upset. So,
Really?
and I think that's the point of this scene. Who gives a fuck about EE, but it's about him losing another person in his life. Yeah.
Okay, I guess. I don't know.
All right, you got a third point? Was that all 3 points? You just wanted to bash fucking EE for the last 20 minutes of this fucking podcast?
Yeah, also, since like when you were playing this, I had a fucking great time with the whole with the whole like Stillman thing. But what do you think of Stillman as a character too?
I actually really like Stillman. I think that he actually, with as little time as he spent in the game, he had a very he had a really good character arc for me because I totally forgot about the he hit it in my ass. I forgot about all that. Like, I forgot about like him faking. I did forget about that, and I think that always get your prostate examined. I didn't know. He had my number. He stuck the bomb in my ass. I never would have found it. I could hear it beeping. I didn't know. But I just thought it was next to me. I didn't know it was inside my ass. Riding, and then he blows up.
Riding for months, I've been hearing this beeping. It just turns out I'd figured out it was coming from inside of me all along.
It was in my ass, and Fat Man put it in there. He had my number, and I didn't know, and I thought I was just going crazy with the beeping, but he had me, and then he set a timer to it so that I would be on Big Shell, and then my asshole blew up, and now I'm dead.
Right, you must shoot the coolant up my asshole. It's armed with bomb.
It's gonna freeze my insides, but it'll stop the bomb. It'll freeze the bomb. It'll freeze my asshole. It'll freeze the bomb. It'll freeze me right up. Turn me into a popsicle, but it'll stop the bomb. I'll be able to live. Okay. I actually really liked it. So he comes onto the scene as sort of like the bomb expert, and you follow him, and then you start communicating with him more, and you find out that he wasn't like a great person, and he got a bunch of people killed because Fat Man had his number, and a church blew up and a bunch of people died. So he faked having an injury so that people would take pity on him. Mm-hmm. And I think that was just like superhuman writing, something that like we like this character, but he's like totally flawed to his core, where he pretended to be a victim and he wasn't. He fake limped around. He used a fucking cane. He said he got injured, and he faked that for like 10 years.
Because he felt bad that he failed. So
right, and he was too weak as a person to stand up and face the fact that he got a bunch of people killed because he wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. And so he played the victim instead. And we get this beautiful character arc of you finding out, like, not like you liking him to begin with, you not liking him after you find that, and then him going through like a redemption arc and then fucking dying. And you get that in like 2 hours. And this one character who's a stand-in for just a little while gets like some of the most character development, more than an EE, who plays a bigger part in the series compared to Stillman.
Who they actually want to make you care about too.
Right. But I don't even know if you're supposed to care about someone, but I felt super connected to Stillman because of what he went through and the thing that he was pretending to be injured, that sort of thing. Like, you don't hear about that kind of thing happen a lot. Like, it's fresh. It's really cool. And you get his redemption, and then he dies like a redeemed man. And I liked that. He was like, no, I can walk just fine. I can even run. And he goes, and everyone's just like, what? And he's like, I faked it. I pretended to be injured because I was too weak to face the fact that I got a bunch of people killed. And I was just like, whoa, holy fuck, like that. I didn't expect that. And I was just like, man, you're kind of a piece of shit. And he's like, no, I'm going to go stop this bomb. And then he tries, and he fucking dies doing it. He died, but he tries. But he admits that he was fucking weak for the first time in his life. And he goes and he says, I'm going to try, and I'm going to conquer this thing that I let. I mean, obviously he fails, but that's even more human. The fact that he still couldn't beat Fat Man, even though we got all this like uplifting shit, he still fucking died and lost. But I thought it was a great characterization of a character. I thought it was a great arc in the middle of this game that literally has no standing before or after that arc, but during it, I lived it and I liked it a lot. What about you?
I liked it too on my first playthrough, at least. I just really like his voice actor. I think he sounds really cool.
Yeah, and then obviously you loved the absolute bananas 2 hours of me, you, and Nick fucking just ripping him to shreds with the fucking talk about bombs inside his ass and like
Yeah,
proctology exams and
that
shit.
makes him
Like,
a better character.
I was like, dude, Nick was fucking making me crack the fuck up. He was dropping some beautiful fucking lines. I wish we would have caught that shit on Shadowplay. I would have just fucking put that into this right now as the ending, and that would just be the end. I wouldn't even do my normal closer. I would just have us talking about fucking
30
Stillman's
minutes of
asshole.
Stillman impressions.
Yeah, 30 minutes. This fucking would be like the second longest podcast we've got, just because us going, oh my, right. My cane was actually a bomb the whole time. You know, like, dude, I got so much fucking enjoyment out of that. Like, I was trying to focus on this game, and like you and Nick and me, we were just fucking just lighting this motherfucker up. And I'm like trying to find the bombs, and like I'm like, oh, I ate the bomb 5 years ago on a sandwich. I didn't know it was a bomb. He had my number. I ate it. It was C4. I knew that sandwich tasted bland. I put mustard on it.
I taught him everything. I taught him everything, but I didn't teach him this.
I didn't teach him this. I didn't know he could make sandwich bombs or asshole bombs or cane bombs. I didn't know.
Tastes so good too.
It tasted like a Reuben, the king of sandwiches. Didn't know it was a bomb all along. I didn't know the C4. Didn't poop it out. It rested in my intestines. It's still in there. You gotta spray the cool up my ass. God damn it. It's just so easy. It's just so fucking easy. It's oh fuck. That is beautiful.
Yeah, that's
I bought a dildo at the sex shop. Turns out it was a bomb. Fuck.
And I put it on my ass.
I put it on my ass.
Exploded.
Oh my fucking god. It was anal beads, and one of the beads got lodged in my ass. I didn't know it was a bomb all along. He planned it. He had my number.
How did he even know I was into that kinky shit?
He knew me like the back of his hand. He knew me way better than I knew him. I didn't know he knew me. I didn't know he knew me that well. Fuck. There were some good ones, dude. I got a fucking. We went into like proctology exams for like 30 minutes. It's like, make sure. Moral of the story: make sure you get your asshole checked.
You never know when you could have a bomb shoved up your ass when you least expect it.
When you least expect it, a doctor, he'll stick his fingers up inside you, and he'll find that bomb, and then you can prevent this whole. You can prevent this whole situation. Oh, fuck. Make sure you get your asshole checked. You gotta get your asshole checked.
Once I get out of this, I'm going to the proctologist at least once a week.
Every man is supposed to get his fuck. It's just too funny. God damn it. Oh, fuck. Every man's supposed to get his asshole checked. It could be a bomb.
I think it's a lump, but it could be a bomb.
Oh, fuck.
I was wondering why I was so backed up.
So constipated. Dude said it was a. Oh, my fucking God. Oh, I'm like sweating because I'm laughing so hard. Oh, fuck. This is what happened last time. Oh, fuck. It's just so funny. I don't know why it's so funny. God damn it, dude. The last fucking 15 minutes of this podcast is just me laughing at asshole jokes. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, my fuck. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, so I can't remember the third one, so that's about it.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Let's just drop my laptop. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay. let's close this fucking podcast.
If you
now.
can.
Okay. I'm a professional.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a professional. All right. That was fucking hilarious. That's the hardest I've laughed since the last time we did this joke. Fuck. Well, thank you for starting your weekend out right with Level Die. Follow your... I don't fucking like that. I gotta find a new fucking outro, man. So thank you for starting your weekend out right with Level Die. I'm just not a huge fan. What do you think? What should be my outro, Mike? How should I end it? Thank you for listening. Fucking fuck you, Level Die. Should I just say fuck you, Level Die, and just fucking end the podcast? I don't know.
Just do whatever.
Well, all right. Thank you for listening. This was another beautiful episode of Level Die. Follow your death drive. Simply be despair, and I'll see you next time.
Get your prostate checked.
Get your prostate checked. Mike, thanks for being on. I didn't know Mike was a bomb all along. You gotta make sure you gotta get your asshole checked. You know, men are supposed to get it done. It could be an enlarged prostate, or it could be a bomb. That man's got your number.
He could be constipated, or you could have a bomb inside you. He's shoved up your ass.
He's an incredible bomb maker. Who knows? Who knows when he could be inside your house shoving shit up your ass? Yeah. One day you could poop normal. The next day he constipated. Fat man's got a bomb inside you. You eat a sandwich, doesn't taste too good. Maybe it tastes great. Probably a bomb. He's the greatest. He's the greatest bomb maker that's ever.
He may be the greatest bomb maker ever, but he ain't the greatest sandwich maker.
That's right. That's how you know. You go to a restaurant, big fat man with a glass of wine back there. He's making your sandwich. What happened to the regular guy? The new guy's on roller skates. He rolls out. He hands you your sandwich. You eat it. Kind of flavorless. Tastes like C4. You don't piece it together. You fucking 5 months later, you're a big shell. Your asshole explodes. You're dead. Son of a bitch. It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. You gotta get your asshole checked. That's it. You heard it first here from Level Die. Make sure you get your asshole checked. It could be a bomb, or it could be cancer. You know, fuck. We just don't want you dying because it's the only way I'm ever gonna make money on this podcast. So thank again for listening.
Thank again,
Mike. Thank you for being on. This is fuck. I'm gonna get more to drink, but that I have not laughed that hard in a long time. I mean, fuck.
Since the previous Stillman impression.
Since the previous Stillman episode, yeah. Fuck. That is timelessly fucking funny. Jesus Christ. I hope somebody actually makes it to the end of this podcast so that they can actually fucking listen to that, because that was just solid fucking gold. Oh my god. All right. Let's end it. Thanks for being on. That was fucking beautiful. Metal Gear Solid 2. It's coming up tonight. Good shit. Peace. Yep.